and you're watching to the Black Eagles podcast, a Beşiktaş talk show.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksın kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Zuma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet. Ve gol!
Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast. This is an impromptu show. We might have a new manager. It looks like we're having a new manager. It's me, Kaan and Kartal, joining you today. I'm live from Belgium. I said last time I will start saying where I'm from. And my good friend, Kartal from Glasgow, Scotland. Kartal, we weren't really planning on doing anything. You had to scramble to eat your steak really quickly so we could go live. But it looks like we might have an Ole at the wheel soon. How do you feel about it? Give us your first reactions. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be the next Beşiktaş coach. That feels like something we could have said 6 months ago. Feels like something we could have said a year ago. Because both of those times he was being mentioned as well. So doesn't exactly feel super original from our new president. Let's hear your first thoughts, Kartal.
I'm disappointed, Can. You know that much like yourself, I wanted a coach that's known for his attacking brand of football. Ole is not a coach that's known for attacking football. He's known to be a transition coach, similar to Gio, but a bit different from Gio in the way that I think Gio's teams get more of the ball. So I think Gio is probably more suitable for us, to be honest. But obviously it seems like it's a done deal going off the reports. So there's not much point in me saying that I don't want him and I'd rather an attacking coach. I've been saying that for years now, that we need a coach that's known for his attacking exciting brand of football. Mm-hmm. Well, you get that.
Yeah.
Others again failed me in that regard. We're still not getting that. And I think the problem is here, like, see when you bring a coach like this, like Ole in, man, see if they don't hit the ground running, you're going to get a lot of criticism about the play style. What me and you said before is, like, see, even if you don't hit the ground running straight away, see if you had a coach that was trying to implement good attacking, just an exciting brand of football, like, see if fans could see like that being implemented, like that bring the coach a bit more credit, I think. Mm-hmm. A situation where they wouldn't hit the ground running, so to speak. So I think Ole's not a bad coach. Of course he's not.
No.
I mean, he's arguably maybe the best Man U coach since Ferguson. Obviously, it's not a very high bar, but still.
Well, I think Mourinho had a pretty decent spell, like a year or two or something, right? And he won the Europa League and he finished second and stuff. Well, I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think he finished second and third. How many seasons was he in charge at United? Because he was there for a while, right?
It was 3 years he was there.
Yeah, and he was the interim coach first, and then he did a really good job as the interim coach, and then he got hired permanently. I don't watch a lot of Premier League. Premier League is not really... I mean, first and foremost, like, I watch a lot of Super League. Super League is my favorite league. Oddly enough, I'm a bit of a masochist when it comes to my football, I guess. I do watch a lot of Super League. I watch the Belgian League. I watch some of the Dutch League. And I'll pay attention to, the Premier League and stuff like that, but I don't constantly watch games from the Premier League. Like, I'll pick in like one game a weekend or something. It's not like I'm watching a bunch of games. So I'm nowhere remotely close to being even like, I don't feel like I'm at all, how should I put it? Qualified to comment on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time at United. I think there's a lot of mixed feelings about it. I can go off what other people are saying. my first reaction when I saw it was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, you obviously the media are largely responsible for this, but Seba Adala, I think, also has a large responsibility in it as well, because, like, I mean, he didn't go as far as to, like, tease names like Hansi Flick or anything like that, but I do think he did set the bar at a certain point. Of course, then the media, they throw names out there, Roger Schmidt, Razvan Lucescu. Those are names you can really get excited about, I feel like. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. First reaction, it's not something that excites me. Mainly also because I think like a lot of managers that coached Manchester United over the last 13, 14 years since Sir Alex hung it up, I think a lot of those managers have kind of become memes. Like Manchester United, other than Jose Mourinho then, but like Manchester United has been very detrimental for careers. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is one of those people, because if you look at what he did at Molde, like purely looking at it from, our positions, we don't watch the Norwegian league, we don't pretend to watch the Norwegian league, just from the outside looking in, Molde, relatively small club in Norway. I think he got them their like first title in a really long time. I went and read up on him last time we were linked with him, and the stuff I was reading about him from his time at Molde was really promising. That sounded good. But then, like, the Manchester United stuff, like, I don't know, man, that's so difficult. It's also, if you look right now, like, maybe he didn't do so bad. And the same thing could be said about Jose Mourinho, right? Like, back then, these guys were sacked because the standards at United, the expectations at United, just like at Beşiktaş, were very high. But they couldn't deliver on those expectations. But then we see how Manchester United have fared in the years since, and it's not like they've really advanced at all. So the question then beckons, was Solskjaer the problem? Was Mourinho the problem? Like, I feel like there's a lot of similarities with us and United. I've said this many times before. I think there's a very similar situation where it's not really the managers that are the problems, I feel. It's the player squad. And the problem in football is if you have a squad that has that many problematic, not even figures, but like has so many issues. We've learned some things over the last couple of days as well. Like, our squad doesn't consist out of the best, hungry young players and stuff like that. We know we have a relatively old squad, and then we have a lot of room for improvement. The problem with Man United is they have these massive contracts that they can't get out of. Like, we have big contracts we can't get out of, but at Man United it's like, X10. So they're stuck with a lot of these players for the long run. And like, cleaning that house is even harder than cleaning our house, I feel. I think that with if Adala is able to bring in some capital, bring in the funds, I think we can relatively easily start rebuilding. I mean, we already started it in the summer. We already kind of started it then. So we just need to get rid of a couple more guys that should be moved on. But we can start bringing in new, young, hungry players. I think that's the key for us. And I think you can probably turn things around much easier at a Turkish club than you can at Manchester United.
Yeah, because you don't have I suppose maybe Galatasaray go around looking like they're going to win their third title in a row, starting to look like a Man City. But like we've seen with the tide can turn in Turkish football, it's not really like that. In these countries, like Galatasaray ended 13th the year before they went on this run, So it just shows you with a good window, a really good summer window, even if you make it a couple of good windows, you can completely turn around your fortune in Turkish football. And I've got breaking news, Kaan, as well.
Yeah.
the scouts have arrived in Istanbul, according to Yasa Wanjolo.
Yeah.
Siegbert, formerly of Bayern Munich, and Edward Graf, formerly of Borussia Dortmund, have both arrived in Istanbul.
Okay.
The plan is for Beşiktaş to start a buy, shine, and sell model. So that's very promising if they actually follow through with that.
Yeah, of course.
These guys are allowed to actually do their jobs and be the not sporting directors, Adela said they'd be, basically be a sporting director but not have that title. Hopefully they're left to their own devices to do that.
We've been very critical of Serdar Adala, and we still are, and we will continue to be so, but you also have to call a cat a cat. Congratulations, I think. Siegbert and Graaf, both scouts that work in two of the biggest clubs in football in Germany. The two biggest clubs in Germany, I would say, especially, Bayern, but, Siegbert, of course, worked for years for Dortmund as well. Now, Edward Graaf as well, also from Dortmund. That is exciting, and I think as well, an advantage is these are Germans. They are going to get a lot more credit, I think. It's not like, unfortunately, and I think this, quite frankly, again, call a spade a spade. It's racist, I think, what happened with Friedel. I think Friedel got discriminated against simply because he was American. People forget this guy played over a decade in the Premier League. This guy played almost his entire career in Europe. Like, what does it matter that he's American? However, he had no experience in a sporting director role. Like, all he did was he was a coach very briefly in New England, and then he has this sort of goalkeeper. Yeah, like who? I think it's sort of like Y-Scout maybe, but then for goalkeepers or something. I don't know. It's like a data set, lots of data on goalkeepers. But he is not like a super experienced scout or anything. Both Siegbert and Graaf, they are scouts, true and true. So that is very different. And I think that they're going to get a lot more credit, especially if we start seeing now as well, as we instantly start seeing, like, for example, let's take this guy we've been linked with, Serginho from the Danish league. If you go and you sign this kid, and then you go and let's say you sign Aral Şimşir or something, Aral Şimşir, that would not exactly be like, we're Turks, we all know who Aral Şimşir is. But like this Serginho kid, like, from the guys in our chat and us combined, I don't know if any of us knew who this Serginho kid was. Like, maybe Finnish Kebab, because I know he keeps tabs really well on like those Scandinavian leagues, so he might have known him. But like, I think other than the Finnish Kebab, I don't know if anyone knew him. So I think that's definitely, if we end up signing him, you have this instant gratification, whether or not that's a player that was pointed out to us by these guys. But even like just the perception alone will give a good bump. And then you have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who I think at Molde at least had a good reputation of working with young players. And I think even at Man United he got some players to come through. And then also like something interesting, maybe people would like to be interested in this, is years and years ago, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually told United, when Haaland was still playing in Norway, you should sign this kid. And they didn't sign him. Can you believe that? Imagine if Man United had signed Erling Haaland way back when.
They probably would have ruined his career, to be honest. But
yeah, he might have.
It's probably a good thing for Erling. He took the path he did.
Definitely. Salzburg definitely did him well.
Yeah.
Let's get into the comments now, because we have lots and lots of chatter, and please keep the chatter coming, guys. Let us know your thoughts on the appointments of these of the arrivals of the scouts, Graaf and Siegbert, and let us know what you think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah, I can't really imagine. I mean, obviously, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was choice number one. That I think that much is clear. But let's get to these. Let's get to these comments. We have Haktan Emir Özcan. Selam alaikum, he says. Alaikum salam. Sebastian Heinaf posts a nice little eagle emoji. Hax Honsha also black eagles and a couple of eagle emojis. Let's see, Yusuf. Would you say signing Ronaldo was Ole's downfall? Got third and second before they got him, and then seventh and sacked with Ronaldo. Arguably United's best managers since Sir Alex Ferguson. Again, I know. I mean, I'm far from an expert on United or even the Premier League. But yeah, I think there was like an article or maybe an interview way after. He might have said this on the overlap, because I do watch the overlap with Gary Neville quite frequently, and he was on there a while ago, and I do believe he said that that was a mistake bringing Ronaldo back. I don't remember exactly what he said about it, but I think we can all agree that like bringing Ronaldo back, it probably kind of upset the dynamics in that dressing room.
They ruined the passing game as well. That was the main issue, because Ollie's got a very press-focused game.
Yeah.
Around that, because obviously Ronaldo came back at 37 when he'd lost his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as he did score quite a lot of goals when he came back,
yeah.
scored 15 goals in the Premier League, it was detrimental to the football that Ollie wanted to play and was successful with. I mean, he got Man United to second place, which is their joint best finish that they've had since Alex Ferguson left. The only other coach to get them second place was our rivals coach Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But having said that, though, I wouldn't quite say Chiro's legs are gone. I think he is still able to do it for about 60-70 minutes. But 60-70 minutes is not 90 minutes. And the reason I say I don't think his legs are gone is because I still see Chiro very often operating on the wing and being quite quick and explosive.
Yeah, Chiro's problem is he runs, but he can't last. That's the issue.
He can't what? Yeah, he can't last. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
that's the issue.
but that's Chiro. But then we have other players. We have a lot of older players like Masuaku. Pressing game, I don't think that's really up his alley. We have Al Musrati, who isn't even an older player, but like he doesn't. That's not really his wheelhouse. Yeah, Svensson is older. He can do it, but I don't know. It's. I don't think we necessarily have the squad to play that type of football right now. So then,
yeah, I know.
But the dynamics of the squad can change really quickly. Yeah. 2-3 new kids, young, energetic players can change a lot. You know, imagine you have, instead of one Jetson, you have two Jetsons. Like, suddenly things change quite abruptly. But yeah, I think, Cristiano Ronaldo coming, it did what you said, Kartal. It's hampered him from playing that game that he was successful with. But also, it upset the locker room dynamics. I read an article the other day that apparently whenever Harry Maguire was talking in the dressing room, Ronaldo would roll his eyes at him. And it's like, that's like undermining your captain. And there was even like, Maguire was the captain of the club at the time, and Ronaldo actually put in a request to get the armband, stuff like that. So, while we all, I think, should respect Ronaldo for his work ethic, the career he's had, at the same time, I think that he is somebody who can be very detrimental in a locker room. He's an older player. You would expect him to be a leader and an example for young players. And I think, of course, in some ways, in terms of professionalism, in terms of work ethic and stuff like that, he is the best example. But I think when you're around him, I don't think he's necessarily a good example for younger players. Like, for example, like Rashford. I don't think somebody like Rashford that did him any favors being around Ronaldo. Perhaps he even got some of his nasty habits now, and that's why Rashford's... how old is Rashford now? 27? And he's been like the golden child coming for years now at United, and now they're talking about loaning him out to, I believe, Milan, and some other clubs were interested. Like, he should be in his prime right now. And yeah, there's a lot of problems at United, and I definitely think that Ronaldo had there were problems before Ronaldo, so we shouldn't definitely not blame Ronaldo for all of them. But yeah, and as for him being the best manager since Sir Alex, yeah, can't comment on that. Purely based on results, I guess him and Mourinho are tied, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not, yeah.
You could say Mourinho edges it because Mourinho won the Europa League and Ole was runners up. Because remember, Ole got to a final as well, but lost to Villarreal.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Mourinho obviously beat Ajax in the final in 2017.
Yeah. Let's hear your thoughts on the appointment, guys. That's what you said. Then we have Ole is in the house, ready to cook some salmon and fish oil, or sacked in May, says Finnish Kebab. Yeah, the latter part, that is a distinct possibility, of course, at Beşiktaş right now. But let's hope not. Sebastian Heinath first thought was, this can be real, right? Followed by, oh my god, how much did we offer him? And some smiley faces from Jason and Sebastian again. Overall, I'm happy there's at least something, but not sure this is a long-term appointment, which is very disappointing. And then Jason says, Ole Gunnar's time at United was really weird and he hasn't had a job since. Jason also adds, David Moyes needed years to rebuild his career. Louis van Gaal quit club football after United. Ten Hag's reputation is completely in the dumps. United is a managerial graveyard. Yeah, that's what I said as well. They really don't do coaches any favors. But you know what? We're giving them a run for their money lately. So who knows? The Vigilant Turk says even Roberto Mancini has a better career than Solskjaer. Yeah, I mean, Roberto Mancini.
Mancini's a good coach, man. He's won the Premier League, he's won the Euros, man. He's not someone to be off.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing I'd say about Mancini is that he's not worked in club football for a long time. His last club job was Inter Milan, and that was like 9 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, won the title with Man City when that wasn't a given. And also had the Euros in 2021, of course. It was a great accomplishment.
And they played brilliant football as well in that tournament.
They did, yeah. They did.
He kind of just fell off after that, but it's weird, and then he ended up taking the Saudi job.
Yeah, and even at Galatasaray, I mean, they didn't win the league that year, which was kind of like our 17-18 season. Like, they always should have won the league, I feel. But they did have a good run in the Champions League that year. That's the year they beat Juventus in that replay and qualified for the next round and stuff like that. So they had a good run.
Won the cup as well.
Mm-hmm. Oskan Zerzavaci says he's not the right man. That's my only comment. He won't last the season. Oof. Let's hope that's not true.
Last the season, but I agree. Look, I've been crying out for years, man, that I want a foreign coach that's known for playing attractive attacking football. We've still to have that type of coach.
Yeah. Like
Gio was probably the closest to that came in, but even he's known as more of a transition game coach. You know what I mean? More than an attacking coach.
He definitely wasn't. He definitely did not have the reputation of playing attractive football.
Exactly. But would you not agree, Karen was probably the closest person to that, even though he's not known for that? The coaches.
I maybe Solskjaer might be closer to it, honestly. I think at Molde, at least from what I've read, he played good attacking football. And even at United, lots of focus on counter-attacking and transition. But maybe that was also kind of what United had player-wise, what they had available to them.
For years, man, I've been crying out for this. Obviously, people in the podcast that have been on it for almost a year now, they know they've heard it for a year. But you know, Karen, for years, even since before we got Ismail, I've been saying, look, we need a foreign coach that's known for good attacking, attractive football. And yet again, they've still not been able to bring one in.
Yeah,
I don't.
I fully agree with you. But I think those coaches are also very coveted, though, Kartal, and they're very difficult because I think everyone wants a coach. I mean, every half-decent team that has the material for it wants a coach like that. I don't think a lot of bigger clubs set out with the idea of, oh yeah, let's get a pragmatic coach. You know?
I don't know, man. Like Muscat, the guy I've been talking about for a year. Like, do you not think if you pay the Chinese club a lot of money, he'd be interested in coming here?
I don't even think you have to pay the Chinese club a lot of money. And I think as well, like, I mean, if you're going to work with a serious project with not sporting directors, with a good scouting background who can actually find you young, energetic players, then I definitely think that going with a hungry coach isn't a bad idea either. And that's the question remains with Solskjaer. Like you said, almost 3 years or something without a job. How hungry is he? He's a relatively young coach still, 51. He still has something to prove. And this, could be his career renaissance. But yeah, you gotta wonder, why did he take off 3 years from his career? I'm sure he could have gotten a job. I mean, in Norway, everyone loves him. So he could have probably easily gotten a job in Norway, for example. So you gotta wonder, right? Like, how hungry is he still? And sometimes, like I say, standing still is regressing in football. And standing still for 3 years as a coach, I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, man, I don't really like the hire at all. But obviously, I'm going to support him because it seems like it's a done deal.
Yeah.
But if it was me, man, I'd be asking the Chinese how much they want for Muscat, and I'd be paying that fee and getting him over. But it's just not going to happen. Like, Turkish clubs don't have that vision, man. Unfortunately, they don't have that type of vision.
I also think like I think it's not necessarily even the vision. It's more I think they don't have the balls, because assigning someone like Muscat to the job would be very ballsy. Because this, the media will immediately be, oh, this guy, who is he? He only worked in Japan and in China. Like, Japan, okay, but China? I mean, I have to be honest, like, even I have my thoughts about that. Like, China, really? Like...
Yeah, man, but it's just the thing with Muscat is you can use the Ange example of it. Proof
but Japan, the Japanese league is something else. That's a competitive league and a lot of talent there. It's not like there's a lot of talent in China, right? Like
a champion in Japan as well. So
yeah, that's definitely commendable. Let's see. Creevies says, long-time Spotify listener here and first-time YouTube viewer. Well, don't forget to hit that subscribe button then, Creevies. Thank you for checking us out on YouTube. I would have preferred a long-term coach appointment after the May elections. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, man. Like, I would have preferred something like that as well. The problem is, like, at least, I think, was it Ole Gunnar who said that, for example, Roger Schmidt didn't want to come now, but he was willing to negotiate in May, but he did not want to give any guarantees. And the thing is, I think, yeah, you can say we're gonna wait for our ideal coach, whether that's Roger Schmidt or somebody else, but you have to have guarantees. And then also in the meantime, I think you needed to. I mean, we couldn't continue with Sedat Toprak-Tepe until May. Let's be honest. Come on, guys. Every week is worse than the next, than the previous one. So, we couldn't continue with Sedat. So then we would have had to bring in a temporarily fix. And then, yeah, like I said, we said it this last episode, and I think I've said it many times on the Patreon VIP shows as well. Then you need something concrete and a guarantee. Yeah.
That's the problem, man. Because there were reports that came out today saying that Schmidt said he'd like to talk in May, but just talking you can't go make a plan with a guy that's saying let's just sit there and talk. There has to be a signature there. So
yeah,
if that's true, I'd have done the right thing by not waiting out for him. But I still think he could have done better than Solskjaer. Man, like as I've said before, I don't care about the name of the coach, the profile of the coach. just someone that's known for playing good football and is proven they can get teams playing good attacking football.
Yeah.
Would that be enough for me?
Same. In fact, I actually prefer a non-big name because I much rather get like a guy in his late 30s, mid 40s, hell, even early 50s like Solskjaer, that's fine. But I much rather get somebody who's like young, hungry, still out to prove something. I don't want to get somebody who has necessarily a big name because most of the time, big name coaches that come to Turkey, they don't come because they have anything left to prove. They come for the money. Like look at all the examples over the last few couple of decades. Like Guus Hiddink, Lucescu when he came back, obviously to the national team, but I still count that. Now even Jose Mourinho. Yeah, Mourinho always wants to win. Don't get me wrong. He's not here on vacation, but I don't know. It's not the same. I'd much rather get a young German coach who came out of the Red Bull, the Red Bull school or something, who has a certain vision. And then if you have the right people surrounding him, and hopefully Adali can do that now by building this professional team around him with these new scouts, and who can then have a vision for the club and who can bring in players that won't just work with this coach but also with the next coach, and hopefully the next coach is in a couple of years, maybe in 1.5 years or in 2 years or in 3 or in 4 or in 5, whatever. But we need to bring in players. We need to have a vision for the club. The club needs to have a style it wants to play, and they need to bring in a coach to suit that, because otherwise you're going to end up in situations like with Valérien Ismaël, where you're bringing in certain profiles of players to fit his system. And in Turkey, there's no such thing as a long-term relationship with a coach. If you're lucky, if you're really, really lucky, you get 3 or 4 years out of them. So I think you need to, buy players that will work under different circumstances.
That's the issue, man. If we get the Ole of Man U that played a counter-attacking game, that doesn't align with what we want to play as a club. So that's an issue in itself. And if you build a squad to play that game, and then you want to move on to playing attacking football, then you're going to have problems, man.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about that though, Katla, because I feel like neither of us is really. I want to talk. Remember I interviewed Adriaan Riekvoldsen about Bodo Glimt a while ago. I'm talking to him. Unfortunately he's under the weather at the moment, but I'm gonna try and get him on and get his opinion, because he will know the coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer much better than us. Because you're obviously now with this idea of counter-attacking football, but maybe Solskjaer is somebody that can adjust to the players he has. Obviously with Ronaldo, but Ronaldo is difficult, man. Even look at Portugal now. For years, the last couple of years, Portugal, they've been trying to adjust to Ronaldo, but it's you can't. He's too much of a you can't play good football if you want to play in function of Ronaldo. If you play in function of Ronaldo, he might score you those 20 goals, but your football's gonna suffer. I don't blame Solskjaer for not being able to make that work, honestly. I don't think, obviously Santos wasn't able to make it work. Roberto Martinez right now isn't able to make it work. It seems like at Al Nassr they're not really able to make it work. So I mean, we have to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there, I think. And I really want to hear the opinions of people who know him better, if that makes sense.
I mean, from what I've read, it says that he did play attacking style with Molde. Mm-hmm. But if that's true, man, and he can do that with us as well, that's great.
He needs to have he needs to have the tools for it though, Katla, because right now with the squad we have at the moment, we don't have wingers. So I mean, Let's see what happens this January. Supposedly, he's had a couple of players ready to come. So maybe if Solskjaer is announced, the scouts are coming now or are here now, and maybe then these signings can go quickly. Then we're gonna have to take our hat off for Serdar Adala, despite the fact that it's taken 20 days. You know, the transfer window is only just opened. If we suddenly sign 2-3 players, that's pretty impressive then. Let's another comment, by the way, from Creevies. No coach will survive this board chaos, honestly. Serdar should have been left in charge until the end of the season. I could not disagree with you more, unfortunately, Derek Creevies. I really don't think so. Simply because I don't think Serdar is competent enough, sorry to say.
Yeah, he's not competent. That's the first thing. I mean, we've watched like 8 games now with no game plan whatsoever. Now, obviously, in terms of the board, like this board's just been elected. Like, what does he mean chaos with the board? As far as we've not heard anything about chaos within this board.
No, it's true, but I mean, I guess having a board change and stuff like that mid-season is chaotic in itself, right? It's not exactly a stable environment, but
he could have.
Yeah. Let's hope the situation now is healthy behind the scenes. And
we don't know. It could be bad still, man. But so far, we've not really heard anything. But again, Adala does seem to have.
I've heard some stuff, but nothing related to the football. Nothing related to football or anything like that. Just some other stuff like, yeah. Let's see. Kral Ferdi 1903 says Mbuk Beşiktaş. Exactly, Kral Ferdi. Başka büyük yok. Jason, or aka Yasin. Best thing that happened to Haaland. Of course, that's Manchester United not getting him. Atiljan Malak says, I'm totally in. And the Vigilant Turk says, bring in Zidane for Beşiktaş. Jason says, OGS. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was quite infamous for not being successful in terms of cup competitions, unlike someone like Erik ten Hag, who won 2 trophies despite his poor league performance. Jason also says, sorry for spamming in the chat. No problem, man. Keep the comments coming. Keep it all coming, guys. It's good. It gives us a view of what everyone's thinking. I think that's great. I hope you are joking, Vigilant Turk. Why would Zidane come? An actual coach, let's go, Trippy Galen says. And then we have the Vigilant Turk again. Jason, maybe one day, who come to Beşiktaş? Yeah, he'll come to Beşiktaş, I guess. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, by the way, guys. We've hit 400 and now we're climbing towards 500. Please hit the subscribe button and hit that like button as well. And keep the comments coming. Kartal, if at any point you want to interject or comment on any of these comments, just cut me off.
I will do it.
Oscar Zelzavaci says, I don't want to add one more thing. I do want to add one more thing, sorry. No matter who we bring, the club needs to change with the managers or it will never succeed. And, yeah. And it won't. The best example with Gio, there was a project, it fell flat. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, coaches need a stable work environment. Players need a stable work environment. We can be angry at the players. We can be angry at Masuaku. We can be angry at everyone. But at the end of the day, if these people aren't giving a healthy working environment, then it's difficult for them to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Hassanarat administration couldn't give Gio a good working environment. We just need to hope that the Serdar Adil administration can give Ole one. Mm-hmm. So just finger for that.
Yeah. Not sure if anyone mentioned it, but 400 subs. Yep, exactly, Jason. Thank you very much. And thank you all for subscribing, of course. And if you're not yet, hit the subscribe button. Trippy Galen says, Oscan 100% agree. We need to get rid of the death spiral of sacking coaches midway with no plan. We have to stick to a healthy regimen for a while. Yeah, we do, but in order to do that, I think there also needs to be a modicum of success. There needs to be something to hold on to. Ole is gonna come in now, and we can't expect him to suddenly transform this zombie of a team into a preppy young lad or whatever, or preppy, I don't know. But I mean, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but new blood will help. I think the timing in that regard is good, because he's going to come in and immediately it's going to be possible for new blood and more quality to be injected into the team, which can give the team a boost on top of the new manager arrival. So I think it's, in that regard, it's better this way than if we would have appointed somebody, let's say in November, because then the person in November, okay, maybe he would have been able to prevent the decay to go as far as it has. But now at least the coach will have the opportunity to perhaps get some new players in who can immediately have an impact, and hopefully that will rub off on the rest of them.
I want to give you some news from Evan in Chicago. He's saying that the wage is going to be similar to Gio. So Gio's on 1.3 a year.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about 650k for half the season, and then 0.3 for next season, roughly. If it's roughly the same, obviously it could be a bit more, it could be a bit less.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, you can say. I mean, it's better than paying 7. Obviously, I did Roger Schmidt, but it's not as hard on the club's books. It's paying 7 million for Schmidt, so that is a positive.
It's also going to be important to see how the deal is structured, right? Like, does he get a 1.5-year deal? Does he get a 6-month deal with a 3-year extension? That's also important to see.
So Gio said it's a 1.5-year deal.
That's good. And then hopefully, if he does well, then hopefully we extend him on time. And if he doesn't, then but he'll need time.
I think we should just see the contract out this time, man. 1.5 years. If it's bad, if there's rough spells, I think we just need to clench our teeth a wee bit and just get through those spells. Because we need to get to a point, man, where we're seeing something through.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, see, even if you stick with Ole for 1.5 years, you're going to be in a much better position to get a coach in. See the fact that we've changed all these coaches in recent years.
New subscriber, by the way, Kartal.
Oh, brilliant, man. Thank you very much, Ferit, for becoming a subscriber.
Subscribed to the channel.
Welcome to the Black Eagles.
Like 7 managers in the last 1.5 years, man. Like, that's why it's so hard for us to get a manager, because everyone knows, like, the chances are I'm not going to be here for that long. But if we can see out Ole's contract, it's going to be a lot easier to actually find someone to come.
Yeah.
Because then the coaches will say, oh yeah, maybe the past administrations were sacking coaches all the time, but yeah, this current Beşiktaş administration, they actually see things through, and that's what Fikret Orman was really good at. Like, Fikret Orman didn't sack any coaches halfway through a season. Every single coach that Fikret Orman worked with, he at least saw through the season with him. Samet was a full year, Bilic 2 full seasons, Shenol 4 full seasons, and then obviously he brought in Avcı, but he resigned himself in October, so he wasn't the one that sacked Avcı. So every coach Fikret Orman worked with, he saw out the season. I think Adela needs to do that as well then, so just so that we can improve our reputation in that regard, and so it's easier for us to attract a coach when we work, because I think that's been a problem with us, because look, Solskjaer, right, we're not too keen on him, but this guy wanted to come in the summer. This guy probably wanted to come last January as well. In fact, I remember when we signed Gio, it was either Gio or Solskjaer on the news, and then Gio get announced that same day. So Solskjaer was close before. Obviously, we're not really keen on him, but what I've read about how his time at Molde, that he played attacking football, that's more promising. But as you said, Kaan, obviously he needs the tools to be able to do that. So now it's down to the new not sporting director, Martin Siegbert, to build a squad to make it suitable for playing attacking football. If not, as we've seen with all his time in Man U, he will go for a more transition approach. But I mean, that's a positive. The fact that if he did play attacking football at Molde, if what I'm reading is correct, obviously we'll wait until you speak to the Norwegian football expert. we'll find out for sure. But if what I'm reading is true, and he actually did play good attacking football at Molde, then that's a huge positive for Ole. He can be flexible in that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oscar Zerzavaci says with Ole, he can bring all his experience with working with youngsters, Man United, whatever, but Beşiktaş operates at signing big names for quick returns, but mostly fails. Even this manager thinks of that. Yeah, that's what you were saying as well, right, Kartal? Like it's more a name appointment, really, or at least that's how it comes across right now. Yeah, I mean, let's hope that during the interviewing process he was simply able to make a good impression. And
yeah, let's be honest, but I doubt there was much of an interviewing process. It was probably just the first guy to say yes, we'll bring him.
I don't know, because it took almost, I mean, we don't know how long they've been talking to people, but it's been 20 days almost. Tomorrow it'll be 20 days since they took office, and of course, like the first 10 or so were wasted on Sergen, but who knows? Let's give them the benefit of that for now. Trippy Galen says, I think the player names that have been circulating in the media signals a long-term project, but we will have to wait till the end of the transfer window, I suppose. Let's hope not. Let's hope they act quickly.
Hopefully, I want to see this Serginho kid. Bring him in.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting name prospect on paper, just looking at his stats. Obviously, we've not watched them, but the stats, and then it seems like a guy with flair as well. So he could remind us maybe of Quaresma. Obviously, he's not going to be a Quaresma level player, but maybe he could be the closest player to Quaresma that we've had, because obviously since Quaresma's left, we've not had any player like that. Like we've not really had a trickster.
He comes across differently to me. Like his style is not Quaresma-esque in my opinion. It reminds me more of an indoor football player, like very close ball control. I don't know. Like Quaresma was flamboyant, was super flamboyant. I don't get that impression from this kid that he's super flamboyant. Definitely has some, of course. He has flair for sure. But we'll have to wait and see, and also like. Obviously, his career only just started taking off the last 2 seasons since he's gone to Denmark. He's 23, made his debut in the Portuguese league when he was like about 21, I want to say. So, you gotta wonder. Was in the Benfica academy for a while, so that's promising. But we'll have to wait and see, man. Whoever we end up signing. I saw a report earlier that Jean Onana is about to join Nantes, I believe. On loan, I assume, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, I believe it was Sheffield that wanted him. I'm not sure, but I think
I just saw they said a championship club. They didn't. What I read didn't give a club's name, but this is true, man. Ox is away, Orana's away. That's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
That means we can get 2 guys in now. So get Serginho in, and I don't know, get a left back in, and then if we get rid of someone else, get in a striker. But I want 2 wingers, really, man.
Yeah, me too. Because I read something the other day as well. Like somebody said, Beşiktaş aren't too focused on the right wing because they have Rashica there, so they're gonna focus on the left wing. And I'm sitting here thinking like, what, do we have Rashica there? I mean, like he's been injured for 70% of the season so far. Like you can't depend on this guy, man, to be fit. And even when he is fit, like he's hot and cold all the time. Like he'll have a couple of good games, but then he'll be like super bad. So I think two wingers ideally, but beggars can't be choosers. If we can get one good winger to begin with, that's better than nothing. And then hopefully we'll see. Oh, by the way, did you see that Al Musrati removed Beşiktaş out of his Instagram profile? So maybe that indicates something as well, that he might be on the move.
Yeah, that'd be good as well, man. I think the bridges are burnt between him and the fan base. So I think
maybe
just to move on. I think that'd be the best for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's see. Özkan Zerzevaci says, I'm not going to be optimistic at all, even if we somehow, for example, got an Arab takeover with Pep. The fact is, the club is run piss poorly, always has and will be until everything is stripped. Well, you know what? I'm not. I don't get why people romanticize an Arab takeover. I really don't understand that. Sorry, anti-Arab here when it comes to that. Not in general, but you know, just when it comes to that, I really am not in favor of it. Let's see, Sebastian Heinaf. It's funny how Turkish football breaks you mean when I think of a long-term coach, I think 2 seasons. That's already long-term. Yeah, it's true, man. That is, especially in Turkey, like you say. Yasin said, I'm sad Toprak Tepe didn't work out. I mean, Toprak Tepe, man, like, he barely has coaching experience. Like, he's been an assistant his entire coaching career, other than 1 season. He was in charge of the under-19s, and he did very average. Full season in charge and of the under-19s. I think it was 34 games, 1.88 points per game. That's with the Beşiktaş Academy team, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's not very impressive at all. And then this guy is your coach right now. I mean, what did you expect? Like, really? 401 subscribers, Sinan says. Yay! Ferit Hajiev says, we love you, we big Beşiktaş family. Thank you, Ferit, and thank you for subscribing. The Vigilant Turk says, I think Nuri Şahin would be very good for Beşiktaş. Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that his adventure in Dortmund is coming to a close soon, it seems like I'd be up for Nuri as well. Like, Nuri with this, you know, these 2 people with a Dortmund background, that could be interesting for sure. Mr. Sinan Schwarding, the ambassador, says, I wonder if Mourinho being publicly critical of how quickly we flipped on Gio will benefit us regarding giving Ole more time.
Don't think they give a fuck about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Sinan also adds, Jason Serdar will have gotten an apprenticeship under Santos, Gio, Ole, etc. It's like a free education. Anyway, I'm off to my meeting. Keep up the good work. Good luck with your meeting with your editor, Sinan. Hope it all turns out well. And then Sinan also asks, Vigilant, haven't we already just hired a new coach? Well, we haven't hired him yet. It's not official yet. It just looks like it's about to be official today or probably tomorrow, I assume. And the Vigilant Turk says, Sinan, you're right. We have to believe in Ole Solskjaer for now. Yeah, fully agree with that. Whether it's an appointment we like or not, just like with Fernando Santos, just like with Gio, we have to get behind the coach. And Gio definitely, I think, in the beginning, gave us a very positive surprise. But obviously, given the circumstances, the condition the club was in, with the chaos behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff, also the squad building, it just wasn't meant to be. But hopefully now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can have a similarly positive start, or at least, I guess Solskjaer has the advantage now that the bar is set super low right now. So any positive impact that is tangible straight away will be a huge W for him. Trippy Galen says, by the way, unrelated to the coach, when watching the games, I feel like none of the players are able to commend the ball. To commend the ball, I guess, yeah, okay. Feels like watching Halis Saha game FFS. Like a long version of that. Even Rafa looks goofy with the ball nowadays. I mean, I think Rafa's last 2 games weren't good for sure, even though he gave a fantastic assist. But I think Rafa, other than these last 2 matches and maybe like 1 or 2 other games, like has been very good this season. But at the end of the day, when a team is on that slippery slope for so long as we have been, it's difficult, man, to keep putting in good performances, even when your teammates aren't. So let's hope that Ole can give us a boost and that we can turn things around. Jason says, I was Nuri's biggest advocate, so I'd obviously like him to come because Dortmund right now is in a bad spot. And he adds, I guess similar to us. Yeah, and that's it for the comments for now, Kartal. So when we get some more comments, we can talk about them, of course. But let's talk a little bit more about this appointment then. So yeah, like you were saying, Kartal, it's going to be very important that that he gets the tools, and that's going to start with the transfer window that is open now, and we will have to bring in players. So I'm very curious to see how quickly things are going to go now. Also curious that this Solskjaer news is leaking now, right as these two scouts are about to come in. By the way, Kartal, did you see anything confirming that Siegbert is going to be the head honcho over Graaf, or is that just...
Shafak Malatya said that, but take that with a grain of salt, man. Shafak Malatya isn't the most reliable journalist. To be honest, in all the years I've followed the journalists on Twitter, I think I've seen about one piece of news of his that's been right.
I've got a tweet here, by the way, from Arda. He says, now it's time to sack Toprak Tepe for good. Not an assistant next to Ole either. Yeah,
I agree.
I agree too, man.
I tell you why, Ken. Like, I hate the fact that he's forced onto every coach that comes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Antos was made to take him. Gio was made to take him. Obviously, they say it is the incoming coach was so nice, but to say, yes, of course, I'll take Toprak Tepe and my coaching staff, but let's be honest, man, they'll just try to do that to make the club happy. Like, I don't think one actually wants an outsider in their team. They don't want that. I
agree with you. Plus, I mean, if he was like I'm not sure, but I think he doesn't speak English. So what's the point of having him on that staff?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't even think he speaks Turkish very well either, man. He strikes me as just
be nice,
not it strikes me as just not the sharpest tool in the box, you know. See when I hear him speak.
I don't know.
It's just he's being very smart.
It doesn't, but I think just at the end of the day, what is the added benefit of keeping Sedat Toprak Tepe around?
That's none. It would probably be better for him to go off and get experience elsewhere. I mean, Veri Kavlak's doing a brilliant job with under-19s, and unfortunately, because Veri has been working with the A team, the under-19s team have dropped off a wee bit. Because Veri's been working with Toprak Tepe, I think there's been another coach that's been taking under-19s since Gio's left, and that's affected their performance.
Well, they lost one game, I think, this weekend. They were winning.
We need to get Veri Kavlak back down to the under-19s because he's doing a great job there. So sad. No place there because Veri, I think, is a man to take that forward.
Yeah, I agree.
As for being an assistant, as I just said, like I don't think you should be forced on a foreign coach coming in. So I think the best thing to do is just to part ways with Serdar Toprak Tepe. Thank him for his work that he's done.
Or he can be Veli's assistant. That's fine. I mean, he was, like I said, he only coached one full season for the under-19s, and I think that's part of the issue. It feels almost like a charity appointment because of what he did for the club last season, taking over and winning the cup. We can speculate for days how big his part in that really was. But I really feel like right now and I mean, at the beginning of the season, it didn't even feel out of place because you do come out of that high from winning the cup, and it feels like, if we would send him packing now, that would be kind of harsh. But now Vili has the job. He's doing a good job. And at the end of the day, Beşiktaş is a huge club. And we're not a charity institution. And Sedat Toprak Tepe, I don't see a spot for him. And there's, if we would be putting him on the staff of this next coach, that would be pure charity at the end of the day. There's no reason for it other than we don't want to fire him. But I don't think he has a place there. unless there's a role for him in the academy. If there's a role for him in the academy, I have no problem with that. But I don't think he should be anywhere near the senior team.
Yeah, I fully agree, bro. It's probably the best for him as well. If he's got any ambitions to further his coaching career, I think that has to happen away from Beşiktaş.
I don't think he has those ambitions. I think he's 50 years old. 50. He's turning 50. It doesn't have a pro license. I don't know, man. It doesn't strike me as a particularly. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, but I don't think he has that ambition. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I'm purely speculating here. Maybe he does have that ambition, and then you're right. And he should go out and he should get maybe a job in an Anatolian club as the head coach or as the assistant. I don't know. But yeah, and if he does not have that ambition and he is perfectly content being an assistant to the under-19 coach, or he just wants to coach one of the youth teams himself, yeah, okay. But even there, I think I want good coaches in charge of those kids, because you want those kids to be able to contribute to Beşiktaş at one point. And quite frankly, if I'd have to grade Serdar Topraktepe as a coach, on a scale from 1 to 10, I think I'd give him like a 4 or something. So I don't know if I really want that coaching our kids. I like this model of having a Veli Kavlak there, and maybe Veli can become the A-team coach one day.
And an important thing about Veli Kavlak as well, this is a guy that's had his football education in Austria, not just as a footballer, but as a coach as well.
Yeah.
After his career, he went back to Austria and done his badges there.
Yeah, and he coached the under-16s from Sturm Graz, I think, before he took the under-19 job at Beşiktaş. So, yeah.
And Austria is a Central European country, and it's known for like great youth development. Like they develop a lot of good players in Austria. So coaches as well. There's good Austrian coaches. I mean, look at Ralf Rangnick. He's Austrian.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that revolutionised the sport in Germany.
Yeah.
Despite him being Austrian, and there's like the Austrian teams are good developmental teams as well, and their coaches are good. Their national team is always good. So I think a guy like that that's had that education there is going to be very, very beneficial to Beşiktaş for the youth team just now. But I think in the future as a A-team coach as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's that's something that it's not just about bringing up young players from the academy or bringing in young talent and flipping those players. I think a lot of big clubs have been successful as well by not just doing that with players, but also with their own coaches. And that's how you really start creating an identity as a club. Because if you have people that were first in charge of the youth teams, and if you have, for example, let's say you have this mandate of every team in the club plays 4-3-3, then you start creating a house style like Ajax have. And I'm not saying that's something we have to do, but that's something we could be doing. And I think bringing up our own managers in future is also something interesting. But then you have to go after these profiles, like, for example, Vili or Olcay, like guys who, maybe have a future as a good coach. And, I don't see it in Serdar, but who am I, of course, I mean, I'm just a fan.
Yeah. I mean, we're just fans. We're not looking at these things with a professional lens, but again, we are people that have been following this club basically all our lives, man. So I think we can see if someone's got the makings to be a good coach for the club if they don't, and if they don't, I think Serdar does it, man. The extended stretch he got in the league last year was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the cup win was good, but there's rumours that Aybaba was behind the plan for that cup final. Obviously, the first league stretch he got before Santos was good, but that was 3 games. When he got that extended 7-8 games at the end of last season, it was shit.
Yeah.
Then there's shit this year as well. So the guy's just not like showing anything, man.
Yeah.
It's just that at this point you've got a better coach on the 19s. As we've both agreed, we don't want the continuation of Sardar being forced on to every foreign coach that comes in. It's just time to part ways, man.
Yep.
And I wish him the best, man. I'm sure he's a lovely guy.
Or, I mean, like I said, if you have a function for him within the academy, as an assistant, that's fine. I just don't think he should be the head coach. And maybe Veli can use him on his team. But then, do you want to be forcing him on Veli?
Yeah, you don't, man.
No, because that's...
his own people. You know, maybe Veli knows. I don't know. I don't think he does, but like ideally, see if Veli could bring like other coaches from Austria, like that'd be greatly beneficial. And see now, man. Like see with Siegbert and what's the other guy again?
Graaf. Yeah, Edward Graaf.
With these guys coming in, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing like foreign coaches in the youth team as well, and I think that'd be ideal. I think if we start doing stuff like that, bringing in more educated foreign coaches to develop our youth, I think, and maybe in 15 years' time, like, we'll be the dominant force.
Let's hope so, but
unless obviously Galatasaray and Fenerbahce quickly copy, but if we get a head start on doing something like that, and they don't, they maybe take a while to follow through. That era of dominance for us.
Yeah, that's true. There's some reports here now from Ertan Suzgun, by the way. Beşiktaş's priority right now is the left winger, a forward, and if Masuaku leaves, a left back, or once Masuaku leaves, a left back. And there's also Masuaku's representative are talking to clubs in Greece, and they're looking for a club for him there. Ersin Destanoglu, by the way, we didn't talk about this last week, but he has an offer from Watford. Watford have offered, because they have their goalkeeper is out for the season. He got injured last week, I think, and they've made us an offer for 1.5 million euros on an obligatory option to buy, with a loan with option but to buy Beşiktaş and Watford. They haven't agreed yet, but that's the offer on the table. Let's see. Beşiktaş has not yet answered that offer, by the way. What do you think, Kartal? Should we allow Ersin to leave for 1.5 million euros to Watford?
I think possibly, man. Yeah. If it's see if it was 3-4, I'd say yes. It's the fee that's kind of got me questioning it.
Yeah.
The thing is, man, do you ever see Ersin being our number one?
Not anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No.
So I think it's best just to sell him then, because we've got two other young goalies, Guktu and.
I think what we should do though, Kartal, is maybe include a cheeky buyback option.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, we could buy him back for 2 million or whatever.
Or the same amount or something, yeah. Something like that. Or 2 million or 3 million or whatever. You never know. Maybe he explodes when he goes to England. Consistent play time, decent coaching, decent goalkeeper coaching. Who knows? I think you'd want to have that option, but
to be fair, he had a brilliant goalkeeping coach in Ruud Tesp. Did you not say he was like very, very highly rated in the Netherlands?
Oh yeah, Hesp, yeah, of course, Ruud Hesp, yeah. But he's gone now, though. Yeah,
of course, yeah. But for that 6-month period, they had a good goalkeeping coach, but now he's just got some no-name Turkish guy.
By the way, Sercan Dikme says there's transfers that Solskjaer wants from the Premier League. So we're going back down the Premier League train. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. Of course, if there's an opportunity that presents itself, a good player from the Premier League, I have no problem with that. But I don't think we should start this Premier League fetish again. I'd much rather get young, hungry players from the Scandinavian leagues or something like that, rather than an overpriced player from the Premier League who can't cut it there, but is going to be expensive in terms of transfer fees, going to be expensive in terms of wages. I mean, a half decent player from the Premier League in his mid-20s that doesn't have a chronic injury problem is going to be way out of our league in terms of financial. You have
Exactly.
Marcus Rashford come to Beşiktaş, Atılcan making a good one there. Hey, who knows? I mean, he had a good working relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Man United are trying to offload him, so who knows, man? The guys from Orta Çizgi, by the way, Serkan Morova says that Solskjaer is expected in Istanbul tomorrow. And like you said, Kartal, Martin Siegbert and Edward Graaf have arrived in Istanbul. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. No. The expectation is that the signatures will be put after the Samsung game, and that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be in charge for the game against Athletic Club next week, Wednesday. That will be the first game in charge of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, according to the reports for the moment. And our preview, or our focus rather, on Athletic Club, I spoke to Alvaro Romeo today. He's a Spanish football journalist who originates from Bilbao. We spoke about 25 minutes about Athletic Club, about what we'll need to look out for, who are their key players. Of course, you can already imagine the Williams brothers, but he highlights another player as well that could be very important. And he even predicts that there is a possibility that there might be some rotation and some players being rested for Athletic. So you can already watch it or listen to it right now, because on our Patreon page, patreon.com/BeşiktaşPodcast, that is already available in early access right now. The rest of you freeloaders will have to wait until Sunday afternoon to watch it when it comes up on our YouTube channel. I recorded it today, and as is tradition, as soon as something is recorded, it goes up on our Patreon page straight away, in terms of these sorts of videos that aren't live. So that, and of course, our VIP podcasts are available for just $1.99 a month on our Patreon page. Go check that out. But you can also try it out for free for 7 days. So if you actually can't wait and you want to go check out the Athletic Club preview already, you can do so for free by taking us up on the 7-day free trial. Kartal, anything else you want to add? Because I feel like we've kind of said...
We've covered it all. Just want to get to Jason's last comment.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Karen, I fully agree. I don't want to go back down that Premier League rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Players we can get from the Premier League are ones that are chronically injured or just past it. For the most part, obviously, you do get your other exception. I'd much rather Ole uses his links to Scandinavia to find us the next big talents.
Yeah, or even players from the Championship, like look at Gabriel Sara at Galatasaray, exactly. Or if you can get like a Philogene before he makes it to the Premier League or something, but he's gone to Ipswich Town now for £20 million. There's definitely talent in the Championship as well, but I think we're better off looking in the Championship, looking in the Scandinavian leagues. Belgium is expensive, the Netherlands is tough, but like you need to. We need to stop looking for the finished product. We need to start looking for players that we can develop further, that can explode while they play for us, and then make that big move. And also, that will bring with it that we won't be paying these players as much. Because Oxlade-Chamberlain, he makes $3 million a year, and look what you get for it. But if you can get like this guy like Serginho, for example, you can give him 1.2 million a year, and knowing Beşiktaş, we probably will because we're dumbasses. But realistically, what do you think he's making at Viborg? I think if you give him $500,000 a year, he's gonna jump 2 meters high.
Probably, I agree.
Anyway, I think that'll do it for this episode. It was a short one, but a good one. I feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks like he's gonna be the new Beşiktaş coach. So with Ole at the wheel, Beşiktaş are back.
Hopefully.
Let's hope so.
Hopefully.
Anyway, thank you, Kartal.
Don't know if anyone's noticed my photo. It's Ole driving a car. Ole at the wheel.
That's a good one there. That's a good one. All right. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't watch live, leave us your thoughts on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer arrival or soon-to-be arrival, and join us in our WhatsApp community. Go to patreon.com/Beşiktaş become a free member and click on the pinned link. It will give you access to our WhatsApp community where we have a very lively group of people talking Beşiktaş 24/7, and that's really true because we have people from all over the world. We have people from the States, we have people from Australia, we have people from Europe, and we have people from Turkey. We have people from all over talking 24/7 about Beşiktaş. Go join our group, and we'll see you next time after the Samsung game, hopefully with a good result for Serdar Topraktepe's last match in charge ever, I hope. Let's go Beşiktaş.
Thanks to our Patreons. Özkan Zazachi, Akojan Mala, Paul O'Connor, Nathan Davis, Dennis Kebab, Preston Clay, Dara Hennessy, Mario Vargas, Niall Tarek, Sheba, Eva, and the infamous Bertrand.